Hello and welcome to the Frontington and Backwoods Railway. Although this video isn't actually about the railway itself, but about how you see it. Yes, I bought a new camera. But before we dive into playing with the shiny new toy, it's worth a recap of how I got here. Now, for the most part, I've used my phone to take photos and videos of my layout's progress. And that's partly because of convenience. It's literally right there in my pocket, and it takes no time at all to whip out and grab a sneaky snap of the action. My phone isn't anything special, but it's good enough for most things. Then, a couple of years ago, in the interests of having more options and potentially better video quality, I invested in an action camera. I say invested, it was actually pretty much the cheapest GoPro clone I could find on Amazon. Its wide-angle lens captured quite a lot in one go, which was good for time-lapse shots, and it's 4K. Except that it's not. It's more like 1080p upscaled to 4K in software, which doesn't really count. Unfortunately, that camera got wet. And despite drying it out thoroughly, there's still some moisture inside where I can't get to, which means that after a few minutes of filming, the inside of the lens fogs up, which makes it pretty unusable. So that's consigned to my ever-growing e-waste collection now. Speaking of e-waste, I did use a little blue point-and-shoot camera for a while. It had a decent zoom, it could film at 1080p, and it did a pretty good job. Unfortunately, it had two big shortcomings. Firstly, its autofocus mechanism was really loud. You can hear it clicking away here, and it's really distracting. Secondly, the mode selector wheel was unreliable, and kept changing mode unpredictably in the middle of filming. So that's gone now too. And that brings us back to my latest purchase, a Sony DSLR. It's second-hand, but it can film at 1080p and has a removable lens. Ooh, removable. If you speak to any photography enthusiast, you'll probably be told that DSLR is the way to go. I was always put off in the past because I couldn't afford one without selling all my kidneys. But this one was very reasonably priced, and no surgery was needed, so that's a win. But what exactly makes a DSLR better than a phone for model railway photography and videography? Well, let's start with what makes a DSLR different from a mobile phone. Now, to be fair, my phone's camera is pretty good. And aside from its convenience, the picture quality is decent, even in low light. It's got 3 separate lenses, which it can use to figure out distances, so its autofocus is generally very good. But it can't zoom. The lens is fixed in place. I mean, you can digitally zoom, but that's just using software to enlarge the pixels, so that doesn't really count. But other than that, my phone is fine. And because it has an internet connection, my photos and videos automatically upload to the cloud so that I can edit them on my computer later. My new DSLR camera, on the other hand, is an entirely different beast. It's heavier, it has a lot more buttons, it takes a little more effort to set up, and you have to transfer the files off the memory card manually. But it does have a physical zoom, where the lens physically moves, and physically changes how the light hits the sensor, physically, using physics. And you don't need expensive specialist lenses, by the way. The standard 18 to 55mm kit lens that came with this camera is perfectly adequate for a model railway. And the autofocus is pretty good too, considering it's much older technology than my phone. And of course, the sensor itself is massive compared to my phone, which means far more detail can be captured. I've got a bracket for my tripod that allows me to put two cameras on at the same time. So here's some side-by-side footage of the same action captured by my DSLR and my phone at the same time, same lighting, both on standard auto settings. The phone does a pretty good job of keeping everything in focus. But the DSLR's colour is much richer, and there's a lot more detail coming through. And for further comparison, here's a static photo taken by my phone, and the same photo taken with my DSLR, at the same zoom level. Phone, DSLR. Phone, DSLR. Phone, DSLR. And let's also zoom in and see all the gory details. Well, that's all well and good, but we need to address the elephant in the room. If you only ever use your DSLR in auto mode, you're missing out. It's like owning a supercar but only ever driving it to the shops. Or like owning an elephant but never sliding down its trunk. I mean, that's not to say you shouldn't ever use auto, but the real benefit of a so-called proper camera is how much more you can control. Of course, you have to know what you're doing, but with practice and skill, you can get much better results. For example, out of the box, my DSLR wants to focus on the subject and wants lots of light for a nice crisp picture, but that results in quite a shallow depth of field. And that's fine if you want your subject to look like it's a model, but part of the attraction of model railways is making it look like the real thing. And so the challenge is persuading the camera to pretend that it's miniaturized too, which means that we need a much larger depth of field so that more of the scene is in focus. And you can do this by playing with the aperture. So I bumped my camera up all the way to f/29, which, if you know about cameras, probably means something. This brings more of the scene in focus at the same time, but at the expense of reducing the amount of physical light coming into the camera. To compensate, my camera ramped up to an ISO of 3200, which gave me more noise and less detail. So there's a balancing act going on here, which isn't always easy to get right. Then there's the focus. Generally speaking, I've found the autofocus to work well. Not perfect, but okay. It's got software algorithms inside to detect people's faces and make sure they're nicely in focus, but I'm not focusing on people, so it can get confused about what my subject is. But I can also pull the focus manually by twisting the end of the lens. And that's great if I want to be really precise and deliberate about what I'm focusing on. It takes a bit of practice, and it's definitely a skill I need to work on, but it's possible. Of course, with all that control, there's more to think about, and more to go wrong. I tried to take this shot of my train coming into the station, so I started out with the camera zoomed right in as the train came round the corner. As it came towards me, I was manually adjusting the focus. I was also panning the camera on the tripod to keep the train in view. I was also zooming out manually as it came closer, and still trying to keep the focus balanced. And then, as the train came into the station, I was trying to slow it down on my controller. Basically, I needed about 3 of me to do the job properly. With a lot of practice, maybe I could have done a better job. It certainly makes me appreciate why professional film crews have someone whose job is solely to pull the focus, because I can't help thinking this is far too much for one person's brain to do all at once. And I guess that's where having at least some of these parameters either fixed or automated makes sense. So, time for a conclusion. Is a DSLR better than my phone? Well, it's arguably less convenient and more bulky, but it also has the potential to produce much higher quality results, if you know what you're doing, and if you get it right. In practice, I'll probably still use my phone in cases where I just want a quick snap of something, or for time lapses of stuff I'm working on. But for the beauty shots, that's where I'll bring out the big guns. And I'll probably spend twice as long fiddling with all the settings to get it to do what I want, and take more footage because I didn't quite have it right first time. And I'll still need to edit it all later. But it's a tool, it's not magic. And hopefully in time I'll get better and more creative, and my videos will be better, and my models will look better. Do you need a fancy camera? Well, yes. No. Maybe. It depends. Well, thanks for joining me for this journey of exploration. I hope you found it useful, and of course do leave your wisdom and experiences in the comments below. I know I've still got lots to learn, and I expect other viewers will benefit from your advice too. That's all for this video though. Bye for now.